Hi there, my name is Brooks from Character Design Forge. Yesterday I was working on a game character that ended up being a little bee character, and I said where I landed with this character is by no means done. Now, because I had a lot of fun with that project, I thought that today I could iterate on the character, as well as share with you 7 different tips for iterating on character designs. Now, the first thing that I did was one of the most important things that you can do with a character design, and it's a tip that I'm forming from 3 different concepts. Sleep on it, take a break, fresh eyes. Now, when we go to sleep, our brains continue to work on problems that we're thinking about. So this B character, my brain was still working on even while I slept. Even if you don't leave a night's sleep between your ideas, taking a break is a great way to leave the project and come back to it with fresh eyes. The second thing that I did was meditate on the character's story. Now, in this case, because it was a game character, the story isn't as important as the mechanics, and that's what I had started with. But now that I have this little bee character who's carrying a gauntlet, I gave her a simple name, Bumblebee. Obviously, she's a bumblebee. And then I realized, well, bumblebees don't have hives and honeycomb. So I thought, why not transplant Bumblebee into a honeybee hive? She's the only bumblebee there. She's kind of this fish out of water character. And that contributed also to the fact that other bees can fly, but she can't. Obviously, bumblebees can fly, but the way that they are shaped and everything, it seems impossible. So I thought that a flightless bumblebee who then finds this gauntlet would be a cool concept. Now, I got a bit ahead of myself in a certain aspect. I had this idea of a bumblebee and a tardigrade being like buddy cops like a few years ago. And so tardigrades came back into my mind, and I got ahead of myself because I thought, well, what if this gauntlet that Bumblebee has was like the dropped armor of a tardigrade warrior that was for some reason larger than a bee, obviously. And I thought, oh, it could be called the tardiglaive, because I thought glaive was the name for the part of armor on an arm, but that's actually the name for a spear. Through reference, I figured that out. But anyway, it could be a tardiglove if I stick with the tardigrade idea. The third thing that you can do is explore reference related to your character. So in the case of this bumblebee, I looked up photos of bumblebees. I recalled past experiences with bumblebees. There's a lot where we are. And I actually did some sketches of bumblebees and honeybees, because even though I'm not looking for a realistic character, anything that you can derive even details from the actual bumblebee that will inform the character is always going to help the design. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen some photos I did a while back that were all sketches of things like pugs and German shepherds and otters and platypuses. Well, that's for a reason. Those are all creatures that I'm designing for a project called Creature Codex, and I probably won't be able to release that until after this month of videos is over, but that's something you'll see from me soon. The fourth thing is to revisit the shape language that you're using with your character and perhaps exaggerate things more to accentuate aspects of the character. Remember, shape language is something that we talked about last week, and the shapes that you're using in your character are super important. The fifth thing that you can do, especially once you get closer to the final design, is to draw your character in different poses. You need to make sure that they'll be able to move the way that you want them to, express the way that you want them to, and sometimes the shapes that we use look great in one pose, but as soon as they start moving around, it kind of breaks the character. So make sure it's going to work in the final product. The sixth tip is to not be afraid of wrong answers, especially when you're iterating on characters. Nothing is too ridiculous, too stupid, or funny to at least try, because the worst thing that can happen is you don't use a drawing. But the best thing is you might find something that you weren't expecting in the first place. The seventh thing is, as soon as you have a drawing that you really like, try to draw it again a second time. That way it's not just a fluke, the way that you drew it is still fresh in your mind. Well, again, I'd like to keep coming back to this bee project. It's been a lot of fun, and maybe next time I can talk about refining the character down to the final design. Of course, it's by no means done, but the exercises that I went through in iterating have been informative and helped me to ultimately make a stronger character. That's it from me today. I'm making new videos every day this month at characterdesignforge.com. Subscribing on YouTube will let you know when they're made available. And as always, I'd love to hear your questions and comments, so leave me a comment or send me a message. Thank you for watching, and have fun creating.